Well, happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, and especially on this day, Major League Baseball raises awareness for prostate cancer with their Home Run Challenge. Father's Day 2013 means baseball as well at Great American Ballpark. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds in the deciding game, the rubber game, if you will, of this three-game series here on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, and a pleasant good afternoon, and welcome to Reds Baseball. Well, we hope Father's Day so far is going well for you, and we hope we can make it a little bit better if you're a Reds fan by getting you a Reds victory here today. Jim Kelch along with Chris Welsh. And Chris, today is a big day for fathers, a big day for baseball fans from a Reds standpoint, because Johnny Cueto is back.
Well, you're right about that. I went in the clubhouse and wished him happy Father's Day before the game. He had a big grin on his face. He is happy to be back. The move the Reds made was to send Pedro Villarreal down, and they just did this just this morning, just in case Johnny Cueto woke up and he had maybe a side issue or an arm issue. They wanted to make sure that they had enough backup just in case. But when Johnny Cueto is on the mound, he simply lights out. His last time out against the Pirates, he was lights out. 8 innings of one-hit baseball overall. He's only pitched 6 games this year. That's the most unbelievable thing about Johnny Cueto's season. And his injury bug is the only reason he is not mentioned as one of the top pitchers in all of baseball.
Well, of course, Johnny Cueto is glad to be back, and he talked about that earlier.
Bueno, dirá yo a ver cómo la saco, porque tú sabes cómo a veces uno, como humano, a veces uno, en que uno no está pensando en eso, uno a veces le da mente, pero si Dios quiere, todo va a salir bien.
Well, I will see how I can do that because, I mean, as a human being, you know how we are. We're always going to have thoughts, and I will pray in God that everything goes well, but it's hard to take something away of your mind like that. Well, I can't say nothing about that because I don't know. I don't know, maybe 80, I don't know. They haven't talked to me about that. They haven't said anything, so I'm just going to get on the mound and throw it.
Of course, this Milwaukee Brewers pitching staff, when you look at their ERA, it's the worst in the league. Their starters haven't done overly well early, but lately it's been much better.
Well, this might be kind of a small sample size when you're talking just about the last 6 ball games. But if you're Ron Renicky, you're looking for anything that has a silver lining in it. Right now, he's getting good quality pitching. Opponent batting average is way down. He's had 6 quality starts, and he's going to send a guy out there today, in Willie Peralta, that is one of the hardest throwers in all the National League. He averages up around 94 or so miles an hour with his fastball, but he's very hittable. So if he doesn't place that fastball, it'll be good hitting for the Reds. We'll see if they're able to tame that four-seamer or not.
Well, who's going to win this rubber game of the series here on Father's Day 2013? We know this about the Brewers' order. The bottom half has done the damage against Reds pitching so far.
Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Warm day here at the ballpark, but overcast on this Sunday. Temperature 77 degrees, humidity high at 73, and as you can see, the forecast for a cloudy Father's Day afternoon. All right, Chris, the bottom of this Milwaukee order has really done the damage in this series so far.
Yeah, I really thought after the first night that Ron Renicky would take that lineup card and flip it upside down, because they, even against Bronson Arroyo, they did the job. But you see Logan Schaefer, he's getting playing time because Ryan Braun is on the disabled list, but he comes right in and kind of picks up where Braun left off. He doesn't have anywhere near the power, but man, he's hitting the ball all over the ballpark, and right now sparking this Brewer offense.
Look at the differential there. The 5 through 8 hitters, that bottom part we're talking about, they have all the RBIs so far.
You know, it's interesting because sometimes pitchers will pitch differently to different parts of the order. You know, when the number 3 and 4 hitter up there, you're really bearing down hard. And if you let up, though, to the bottom part of the lineup, obviously, they can't hurt you.
Now the series win on the line here this afternoon. Reds won game 1. Brewers won game 2. Who will take game 3? Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by the Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling truck in America, 36 straight years. By Cincinnati USA, Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. First pitch, baseball, Reds and the Brewers. Game number 70 for Cincinnati. Forthcoming from the right-hander Johnny Cueto, 27 years old. His first start since that 8-inning, no-run, one-hit performance on the 31st of May against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Been on the DL. 15 days between starts for Johnny, and he's ready to work against the Milwaukee Brewers. And Norichka Aoka in the first pitch in there for a called strike. We're underway.
When he's on, he's really good. And I mean, when he's on the mound, he's good. He doesn't have to be on his game because seemingly he is on his game when he's healthy enough to take the assignment, and hopefully he'll be healthy right on through the afternoon for the Reds.
Cueto with a mark of 3-0, a 2.17 ERA. And we talked about earlier, he is undefeated in this ballpark against the Brewers in 7 career starts. Aoki toward the hole, and a nice play going to his right by Zach Cozart to retire the leadoff man. Let's take a look at Ron Renicky's Milwaukee Brewer lineup for this afternoon. Aoki, who just grounded out. Now Gene Segura and Carlos Gomez. Middle includes Jonathan Lucroy, Logan Schaefer, and Juan Francisco. And on the bottom, Ricky Weeks for the first time as a starter in this series. Yuniesky Betancourt and Willie Peralta. Ron Renicky played collegiately at UCLA, so he'll be very interested in the outcome of that College World Series game tonight at 8 o'clock in Omaha as his Bruins take on Cal State Fullerton. Pardon me, they take on LSU. UCLA versus LSU tonight at 8 o'clock. Gene Segura. This guy's one of the top hitters in the league, although he has dropped from third to fourth. Reds have been able to hold him down pretty well. He's 1 for 9 in this series.
Yeah, he hits the ball hard when you get it up and out over the zone.
Toward right field, Bruce comes in and Jay makes the catch. And there are 2 out. Take a look at the Reds defensively behind Johnny Cueto, brought to you by your Ford dealers. It's Paul Robinson gets the start in center field, only his 3rd start in center this year for the Reds, and then Bruce out in right. Hanahan at third with Cozart on the left side, Phillips and Votto the right side, a battery of Cueto and Ryan Hanigan. Derek Robinson, start number 3 in center, giving Shin-Soo Choo the day off. Dusty Baker said before the game he thought that Choo looked a little worn out, a little tired yesterday, so he gets the day off today. Liner into left by Gomez, and the Brewers have taken a 1-0 lead. Carlos Gomez, his 12th of the year. He loves that first pitch. That's what he swings at here. Brewers jump in front.
Well, you've been saying it the entire series, Jim, that he's a first pitch swinger. There's no doubt about it. And that's a breaking ball. 80 miles an hour in, 94 miles an hour out. And that's what it took to get it out of here in about 6 rows deep into left field for the Brewers' first run. Boy, he is sporting that prostate cancer, the sweatbands, both on his ankle and his wrist.
Those are the blue ones.
He's a believer in it. And of course, there's a big donation for every home run that is hit. And he just made a big donation with that blast to left field.
That's
Unfortunately, puts the Reds down 1-0.
That's $12,500 for each home run. That was yesterday. It's even more today. Brewers and the Reds are participating, as all teams are, in the home run challenge for this final day of 2013 for the challenge. Every home run in this game raises $20,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge if you'd like to get involved by going online to homerunchallenege.org. So another $20,000 right there on that ball hit by Carlos Gomez. Normally at the top of the home run list for Milwaukee, you'd see Ryan Braun. You may see Aramis Ramirez, but that 12th of the year by Gomez tops this Milwaukee club. Here's the hot hitting Jonathan Lucroy. Batting .378 over the course of his last 21 games, .271 overall.
Now, this is normally a spot in the lineup that you're going to have Ryan Braun or Aramis Ramirez, and I'm a little surprised at a Ramirez, even though it's a day game after an afternoon game, if you want to put it like that, that he's not in the lineup against Johnny Cueto. Again, we made this comment yesterday that maybe Ron Renicky doesn't believe much in matchups, but Ramirez is the only hitter in this lineup that has had any kind of experience against Cueto and done very well against him.
Yeah, .333 with 4 career home runs. That ball sliced into the right field corner. So Jonathan Lucroy, who had a pair of hits yesterday in the game, has himself a double in the first inning. So Johnny Cueto looked like he's going to get through the first without any issues. He's given up a home run, and now the 7th double of the year to Lucroy.
It's got to be a little disturbing right now to Dusty Baker. That's not a bad pitch that Lucroy just goes the other way with. The hanger that was hit for a home run was a bad pitch. But this is something that you're simply not used to seeing when Cueto's on the mound. And Dusty Baker's got to be thinking, well, we're going to have to use the bullpen anyway today. Hope it's not too early.
Here's the hot hitting Logan Schaefer. He's had back-to-back 3-hit games in this series. He's made all the starts out in left field since Ryan Braun was unable to play for this Milwaukee club almost a week ago now. Today is 6th straight start. Friday night 3 for 5. Yesterday 3 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. Cueto 4-0 in 7 starts in this ballpark against Milwaukee with a 2.35 ERA. And in those 7 games, the Reds have won 6 of them. And try to get the Reds back to 14 games above the 500 mark as they say goodbye to Milwaukee and welcome in the Pittsburgh Pirates beginning tomorrow night. Pirates dropped, by the way, an extra inning game last night at home to the Dodgers 5-3. They have Garrett Cole back on the mound today after he got a victory in his major league debut during the week this past week. He'll go against Zach Greinke of the Dodgers. That game starts at the bottom of the hour. Cardinals are underway down in Miami. High scoring game there yesterday, won by Mike Matheny's club 13-7. Today they're underway with Tyler Lyons going against Ricky Nolasco. Scoreless in the bottom of the first down there. Reds begin the day 3.5 behind St. Louis, a half game ahead of that 3rd place Pittsburgh team. Bruce going back, still on the move, gets to the spot right in front of the warning track to retire Logan Schaefer and put an end to the top of the first. Be the 461st victory in his Reds managerial career here this afternoon. Here's the lineup card that he presents. Eric Robinson leading off, his 4th time in the #1 spot this year. Then Cozart and Votto. The middle includes Phillips, Bruce, and Paul. And it's Jack Hanahan getting his 2nd start in a week. This one is at 3rd. Hannigan catches Johnny Cueto. On the mound for Milwaukee, the hard-throwing Willie Peralta.
Well, you're not kidding about that hard throwing part, but he does have some issues, and that would be control. You see the 30 walks right there. That's way too many. The opponent batting average also is up there. You always wonder for a guy that throws this hard, that comes down to being able to command his fastball. And he throws it as hard as he can, not always with the ability to throw it in a certain part of the strike zone. He also throws a slider and a changeup. So he's pretty much a three-pitch pitcher. And you're going to see a little bit of resemblance between Willie Peralta and Johnny Cueto. They're both built very similarly. They're shorter pitchers, very stout, broad-shouldered guy, and very strong, both from the Dominican Republic.
Reds were able to get to Willie Peralta a little over a month ago on a Sunday afternoon, May the 12th. After he retired the Reds in order in the first in that game, he gave up a 3-run homer in the second to Donald Lutz and another run in the third. Reds went on to win that game 5-1 to hang a loss on Peralta. He's won 4, lost 7. High ERA is 6.03. To left field, Schaefer retreats and he gets there, and Derek Robinson is retired to start the bottom of the first. Take a look at the Brewers defensively behind Peralta, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Schaefer, Gomez, and Aoki. They've been in the lineup all 3 games here. Betancourt at third today. Segura, Weeks in the lineup for the first time in this series, and Francisco is over at first. Willie Peralta called today by Jonathan Lucroy. Here's Zach Cozart. Cozart starts the day at 245. He extended his modest hitting streak to 5 games with a infield 3rd inning single yesterday afternoon. Misses a breaking ball there.
Now, if you're patient with Peralta, the chances are that he will run his pitch count up. He has only pitched 7 complete innings 1 time this year in 14 games started. So despite his good arm, he's a guy that runs his pitch count up quite a bit and essentially pitch count numbers himself right out of a ball game. Being a young kid, they're still very tentative about leaving him out there past 100 and 105 pitches. Here's his stuff. Average is 94.6. That's about 5th in the in the National League. Throws his slider 25% of the time. And those are numbers we show you because that's essentially what a batting coach will look at, and he gets a report from the advanced scout. What is his out pitch? When does he throw it? How often does he throw it? How hard is his fastball? Those are the things that hitters like to know nowadays.
Well, Peralta went 7-11 last year at AAA, but did come up late in the year for Milwaukee, make 5 starts, and they were impressed with him. Ball off his foot there. He'll chase it down and throw it late. And Zach Cozart has himself an infield 1st inning single here to extend his hitting streak to 6 games.
It's a pretty good at bat for Zach Cozart if you think about it, because he got down 0-2 before he could bat his eye. And then he battled a little bit, got the count even, and takes it right back through the box to get an infield hit.
Looked like that thing skipped right off the left foot of Willie Peralta. So we'll see him work from the stretch for the first time. The former teammates over there talk about it. Cozart and Juan Francisco. Here's Joey. Comes in 9th in the league at .315, 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in. 0 for 3 with a walk in the series.
Little semi-defensive shift on by the Brewers against Joey Votto. They have Ricky Weeks, the second baseman, playing way around. Here he is. Yeah, so he's covering all this ground right here. Anything on the ground at all, coverage of second base will be by the shortstop. So even if it goes to third base down there to Betancourt, he'll feed it over to the shortstop Segura if they want to try a double play.
Joey's had a tough go in the first half of the month of June, hitting only .216 this month after a very productive May where he hit .388. One of the players that was thought of as a potential player of the month for the month of May.
Well, they're trying to keep Zach Cozart close. They haven't read the press clippings that Cozart has yet to attempt a stolen base.
What do you think of the move of this right-hander?
That's pretty good, although he has given up 6 stolen bases. They have thrown out 1. He has never had a pickoff at first base.
in the hole, and a base hit for Joey Votto, his first hit of this series. And I'll move up Cozart to second base. 2 on with 1 out.
Well, you can just see Joey kind of muscling this ball out in the left field. There's a big hole over there, and he knows that there's more space on the left side than the right side, and he just takes that little breaking ball and does what Joey Votto does best.
So now Brandon Phillips, who leads his team in RBIs with 55 and is second in the league behind Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona in that department, has himself an RBI opportunity here, and he's done very well with the runners in scoring position. Those are his season numbers and his series numbers. He comes into this game 4th in the league with a .435 average with runners in scoring position. Yesterday in the game, he was hitless, 0 for 4, ending a 6-game hitting streak for him. Cozart out at second base. Votto over at first. Willie Peralta came into spring training this year considered the #1 prospect in the Brewers organization.
Now, one thing he does very well is get ground balls. In fact, his ground ball percentage is right at 71%. That's ground balls to fly outs, that is. So, you know, he's looking for a double play ball. The Brewers are looking for one of those, and he's already thrown 8 of them on the year. That's a lot at this point in the season.
Phillips has hit into 8 double plays.
Both these guys, you know, would be well suited to pitch in a small ballpark. Cueto, of course, with only 6 stars, doesn't qualify to be on that list as far as minimum number of innings pitched. Textbook block by Lucroy.
Now it's 3-1. Jay Bruce waits on deck. Peralta making only his 3rd career start against Cincinnati. Double play ball bobbled by Segura. They'll get 1, and that is all because Segura bobbled that hard hit ball right at him. That would have got Peralta and the Brewers through the inning.
I wonder if maybe Zach Cozart darting right in front of Segura before that ball got to him may have had to do with him bobbling it momentarily. He could have been screened out. Perfectly legal play by Cozart. He's going to third. He jumps over the ball, and I got to figure that Segura just lost the look of that ball for just an instant. And in that instant, he bobbled it, and that's was enabled him not to get the double play, and the Reds to keep the inning alive.
You make a good point, because if he gets hit by that ball, he's out, but he creates enough interference to keep this inning going. But here's Bruce, 1st and 3rd, 2 out. Reds down 1-0. Another big crowd on this Father's Day Sunday afternoon. 35,000 plus Friday night, almost 38,000 yesterday. Bruce comes into this series 3 for 7 with that game-winning home run Friday night. And he's at a ball to strike. Nobody in this Reds lineup has more than 1 hit against Willie Peralta. Jay comes in 1 for 5. Those aren't the tying run at third. Phillips is the go-ahead run over at first. Held over there by Francisco. Bruce has watched his average with runners in scoring position creep upward. He's at 265 now. And after a very successful month of May, he had 24 RBIs. He already has 11 this month. 46 on the year. Two and two. Milwaukee on to Houston after today's game. I mentioned the Reds welcome in the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reds behind the Pirates, the second best home record in the big leagues. Reds come in at 23-12 here at Great American Ballpark this year.
And it wasn't long ago that they had the best home record in baseball. Then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals, 2 out of 3 to the Colorado Rockies. And they're here in the rubber game against the Brewers. So it's really a question of what have you done for me lately at home that Dusty Baker is asking his troops today.
Well, after 2 trips already to Pittsburgh by Dusty's club, this will be the first Pirate visit in here for 2013. That starts tomorrow night at 7:10. Phillips is on the move. Bruce stays alive with a foul ball. Red jerseys as always on day games.
I thought they might wear the Los Rojos jerseys today. Was that a special occasion when they wore those?
Yeah, I think it was actually.
Okay, I thought maybe with Cueto coming back off the disabled list and people dialing them in from La Romana, Dominican Republic, that they'd be donning those red ones that says Los Rojos.
Runner going again, and another foul ball by Jay Bruce. Yeah, that in May, I think it was May 11th or so, part of Dusty Days, celebrating the multicultural heritage of this region. They wore the Los Rojos jerseys.
Okay.
Swing and a miss by Bruce, and the Reds strand a pair here in the bottom of the first. Through 1 on Father's Day. 1-0 Milwaukee. Game from MLB.com. Features include all 24 Home Run Derby competitors from 2010, 11, and 2012. The new mobile game brings high-impact thrills as you compete for the highest scores and a derby mode that creates the authentic Home Run Derby tournament. It's available on iPhone and iPad. You can download it for free today. Second inning from Cincinnati, 1-0 Milwaukee. Former Red Juan Francisco leads it off against Johnny Cueto. Lines at first, one to right, and right at Jay Bruce, who's already had 3 putouts in the game. So 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the second. Hey, we want to pass along a big thank you today to our friends at Penn Station East Coast Subs for supplying lunch earlier this week here to the press box area. Always good to have those Penn Station subs, baby. With the help, of course, Jesse Jackson. Here's Ricky Weeks. Makes his first start of this series. Been bumped out of his everyday job by Scooter Gennett, one of the big prospects in the Brewers organization. Weeks not only starting for the first time in this series, playing for the first time. Comes into the game at 2-11 with 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. This guy has been one of the premier second basemen in the league until the last couple of years, where his production has dropped off, although they are encouraged by what he has done so far in a limited amount of playing time in the month of June. Look at Ricky right there.
I'm surprised to see David DeJesus on that list. The other guys have really struggled. We saw Ike Davis when he was really struggling in New York with the Mets. B.J. Upton, as we said, I mean, he was very busy at the plate. I mean, all sorts of moving parts. If you look at Ricky Weeks, I mean, something in common there. There's a lot going on with Ricky. It's almost like his internal clock is accelerating. You know, when in the batter's box, the idea is kind of to slow things down, let the game come to you. But he's just one of these fast twitch thinkers. Everything's moving.
This guy was an all-star 2 years ago. Dropped off to 230 in terms of an average last year and got off to a terrible start this year. Hit only 191 in the month of April. Followed that up with an even worse month of May when he hit in the 170s. But as I say, they've been encouraged by what they've seen so far in June. 10 for 24, 417 so far this month. Nothing Brewers on a Carlos Gomez first inning line drive home run into the seats out in left. Johnny Cueto sitting at 23 pitches so far in this game. He'll deliver number 8 to an elongated at bat here to Weeks. In the air to left and playable. 2 out. Well, the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio like to send out a couple of happy birthday wishes today. First, how about to Norman Menshouse from Russell, Kentucky, turning 82 years old on Father's Day, and Genevieve Schmitz from St. Henry, Ohio, turning the ripe young age of 95. Happy birthday to Norman and Genevieve today.
And also happy birthday to Julie Poindexter Myers. Had a birthday yesterday that I forgot to mention, so we'll send out our belated wishes today.
You getting a little hot water for that?
Not too much.
Okay.
I hope.
Into right, onto the track, Bruce, near the wall, Bruce, got it. 3 fly balls, 3 out in the top of the second for Johnny Cueto.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, including my dad, Nelson. Hope you have a great day and miss you. See you soon.
Big day today, Father's Day 2013. Chris Welsh, happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you, Jim Kelch. Same to you. I know that hopefully all your kids have gotten a hold of you or will by the end of the day to wish you happy Father's Day. And it's a great day. I mean, it really is. And if you haven't taken time to call your dad if he's around and go ahead and pick the phone up or knock on his door and say, give him a happy Father's Day hug. And all you sons out there, take advantage of your dad while he's around, because it's a great thing.
Fathers passing along their love and knowledge of the game to their sons. We see a lot of that out here today. Enjoying this great game of baseball. Although I didn't like that Pittsburgh jersey, I have to admit. All right. Bottom of the second. Reds trailing 1-0. Xavier Paul will lead it off against Willie Peralta, this 24-year-old. Peralta's last start was a quality start. Although it was a Milwaukee loss, he went 6, allowed 3 runs and 5 hits. But overall, his last 6 starts have not been good. He's 1-5 with an ERA of almost 7 over the course of that stretch. Reds try to take advantage of him here today. th start of the year for Peralta. He has 7 quality starts in his first 14. And he last picked up a win on the 1st of June at Philadelphia in the only start, as Chris talked about earlier, the only start in which he's gone 7 innings, allowing 2 runs and 8 hits in that game. We touched earlier also on the fact that these starters who have been maligned all year for their inability to give them innings have really done much better as of late. And Peralta tries to keep that going here. Quality start yesterday for Giovanni Gallardo. Same could be said for Kyle Loesch on Friday. In fact, the starters in this series for Milwaukee has given up 1 earned run in a dozen innings going into today. Ball to be followed by Hanahan and Hannigan here in the bottom of the second. 3-2. There's Jack waiting on deck. He started Friday night over at first base. Today over at third. And ball 4. So the Reds get the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the second.
And a couple of things working in the Reds' favor today if they decide to be patient at the plate against Willie Peralta. Number one, Peralta's wildness. I mean, he is not a guy that is known for really pumping the strike zone with all of his pitches. The other is that behind home plate you have Sam Holbrook, who has been known throughout the years to have somewhat of a tidy strike zone. So combine those two together and maybe ought to be patient down there and make Peralta throw some strikes.
Here's Hanahan. Jack getting his 9th start at third base today. Checks in at 203 with 6 runs batted in. And an RBI. Big one in the 6th inning of that game on Friday night. It was a 2-2 game when he came up there with Frazier at third after Todd had stole the base. And an error by Betancourt had allowed him to go to third base. Hanahan got him in with a sacrifice fly. Takes a strike here and he's in the hole, 0-2. The lone RBI in June for Hanahan. He of course was signed to a multi-year contract prior to the start of this 2013 season. He hasn't had nearly as much playing time at 39 games and 69 at bats as he probably thought he would. Of course, there have not really been any injuries to speak of on the infield that would allow him the playing time certainly that he would like. tries to move Paul along. He's at first base to start the bottom of the second. Hanahan facing Peralta for the first time here in his career. Overcast day here today on Father's Day. There was a threat of rain, and there still is, but those who follow that kind of thing a lot more closely than we do say they think we're going to be all right for this window of opportunity to play today's game. Comfortable if you're sitting down in the stands enjoying Reds baseball on the 16th day of June. We're approaching the mathematical midway point of the season. To Weeks at second, took a bad hop on him. He makes the adjustment, then throws it low, and Francisco is unable to stop that ball, and everybody's safe for the Reds. That's going to go down as an E4 on Ricky Weeks. Off the bat, that looked like it may be a double play.
Well, it looked like DP lane all the way, a 4-6-3 double play. Ricky Weeks can get the ball out of his glove, but he can't, so he decides to go to first. And a half-hearted attempt at backhanding that ball by Juan Francisco cost Weeks the error, and the Reds now have something going here. Bottom of the lineup, first couple of guys on. Boy, Francisco went after that ball like it was a live tarantula. He wanted nothing to do with it. I think he was afraid that maybe the runner was coming over the bag, and he was going to have contact with Hanahan's legs.
7th error of the year for Ricky Weeks. Reds have an opportunity now with Hanigan up and nobody out. Interesting in the fact that Yuniesky Betancourt by and large has been the team's first baseman this year. He's playing third. Francisco is primarily in his career been a third baseman. He's playing first. One and one now to Hanigan. His average slowly on the rise. He's at 189 now after a 2-for-3 day yesterday. Been off the disabled list now for 22 games since he had that thumb injury. Hitting .250 in those games. A couple of home runs, 13 runs batted in for Ryan. Tying run is Paul at second. Go ahead run Hanahan at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. That's ball two. Gets the benefit of the doubt on that call over the outside corner. Pitcher Cueto waits on deck. A walk, an error, 2 on, nobody out. Slowly to third. Betancourt to second, 1. Back to first, wide. Over to third goes the tying run, Paul. First and third with 1 out.
And a good hard slide into second base prevented that from being a double play. Hanahan goes right in there with a clean but very hard slide to try to upend Ricky Weeks, and that throw was offline. They were unable to get the catcher Hanigan into double play ball. Even though it's hit softly, you know, you're thinking about a double play ball right there, and you can see Hanahan going in there. So Hanigan joins Paul on the bases.
for Johnny Cueto. What you really want to avoid here now, even if you don't get a run home, is avoid the double play ball and allow Robinson to come up with an opportunity. Johnny this year has one hit in 14 at bats.
With the way that Peralta gets ground balls, Johnny Cueto's not swinging the bat right here. He's trying to stay out of the double play. Dusty Baker is. So you're going to see a sacrifice probably right up to 2 strikes and through 2 strikes if we go that far.
Squeeze. Here comes the runner. It's going to work. Peralta will throw out to first base. And Dusty Baker executes the squeeze with Johnny Cueto scoring for the Reds. From third is Paul, and the game is tied 1-1. And that's the second time this year we've seen the execution of the squeeze by Cincinnati.
That's an awesome play when it works, and it's an indefensible play when it's done right. Here comes the runner. Cueto gets the bunt down. And there's no play at the plate no matter what. Not if that runner gets the right jump. And Xavier Paul went an exact moment when that pitcher had his hand behind his right ear. Johnny Cueto drops that bat head, bunts it with his eyes closed, but he still gets the job done. Our Performance Honda Exmo.
So Robinson bats with a 1-1 game now.
Can't bear to see it. But he'll look at it in a replay and realize it's a perfect suicide squeeze and ties the ball game up.
Man at the plate, Derek Robinson had the other squeeze for the Reds in the latter days of May, and now Cueto pulls it off here. Ground ball to second. Weeks will throw Robinson out to retire the side. But an exciting squeeze play executed by Johnny Cueto, who now go back to the mound in the third. Ties this game at 1. Brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. This is, of course, the week of the Home Run Challenge. And if you look at the breakdown of teams, the Reds and Reds hitters and pitchers have either hit or given up 13 home runs this week. That's the most in the National League in terms of raising money for prostate cancer research. Among the leaders, Todd Frazier has hit 2. Adam Dunn, of course, the former Red, is the career leader with 19 career home runs during the Home Run Challenge week. So half that's good, I guess. Half of that is bad in terms of the home runs. All of it is good in terms of the research. Johnny Cueto, 30 pitches through the first 2 innings. Back to work here in inning number 3 against the pitcher Willie Peralta. Not an automatic out. He has 4 hits this year. It's a nice cut. He gets a hold of one. I imagine it would sail a ways. 6'1", 245. Willie Peralta. Stands deep in that right-handed batter's box. Hits it to Cozart. And Zach will throw him out. A good start to the third. Well, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, Zach Jackson has a special Father's Day tribute. A Blue Jackets won a big award last night. Find out who and what award that is, and share your thoughts via social media using Game Connect during every Reds game. FoxSportsOhio.com has complete coverage from all of today's action involving Ohio sports. Brought to you by, as always, 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe, spend less. Here's Aoki. In the series, 2 out of 9. Aoki has a home run against the Reds this year. Came in that first series here back in May. Brewers scored their run in the first on the home run ball by Gomez. It marked the first inning run that Cueto had given up this year. Let's see now if Hanahan will stay up or he'll go back. He will go back with a 1-ball 2-strike count now.
Yeah, it seems like Aoki can't decide whether he wants to swing or run, so he combines them both together.
Throws the bat at the ball there and fouls it.
And if you swing like that, you're not going to hit the ball into the gap that much, meaning the left center field gap. That's why you play the left fielder way around by the line.
Now Aoki steps out. Native of Japan, playing only his second year in the major leagues here after a long successful career in the Japanese major leagues. He's 31 years old.
Well, Cueto's trying to get the ball inside to Aoki right here in this at bat, and the last couple of pitches after getting ahead of him, 1 and 2, he's gone 2-2 fastball in, and then, or 1-2 fastball in, then another one in, but he's missed upstairs, so he's just not quite sharp in getting that ball on that part of the plate. Swung at ball 4 there.
Dusty Baker in his pregame conference today was reminding everyone about Johnny Cueto's first start upon his return from that first stint on the DL out in New York, where he wasn't quite as sharp as he had been in the past. A little fly ball into center. Robinson on the move. Derek will get there and haul it in, and Aoki is out number 2. He did round into shape pretty quickly after that. That first start against the Mets on the 20th of May upon his return, 3 runs in 5 innings. Then he went here against the Cubs, allowed a run in 7, and then that start in Pittsburgh, no runs in 8 innings. He tries to have another 1-2-3 inning. Set down 6 in a row as he deals with Segura. Segura flied to right his first time. He went hitless yesterday, 0 for 4, snapping his 10-game hitting streak. Still comes in leading the league in hits at 88. And at 331 came in 4th best in the league in hitting. Swinging bunt, third base side of the mound, and Cueto and Hanahan collide. He knocks Johnny over. That's going to be an infield single for Gene Segura.
Johnny's laughing about it. Tackle made by Hanahan.
Couldn't have laid that thing out there any better.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not so sure that Segura is going to even be out unless Johnny Cueto feels and throws in one motion. But as soon as he bobbles it right there, actually was more clipping than a tackle.
Jack tried to hold up, but couldn't stop himself. Another infield hit for the Brewers. Gene Segura, albeit inadvertently on that one, gets his 25th infield hit of the year.
You know, when a backup infielder runs over the ace pitcher, he's really hoping he gets up with no problems at all. And fortunately, Johnny Cueto was laughing right from the beginning down there.
And nobody out of the dugout to check on the big right-hander. Smash to third. Hanahan to Phillips, and the inning is over. Carlos Gomez, who had homered his first time, hits into the force play to end this inning.
Happy Father's Day to my dad. He means a lot to me, and he'll be watching. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
That was Zach Cozart, red shortstop. Now I know he's from Memphis, so we can presume, I guess, that his dad lives in the Memphis area. He'll be up first here in the bottom of the third inning. Votto to follow, then Brandon Phillips. 1-1 game. Reds trying to make it 2 out of 3 against the Brewers and 5 out of 6 against this team this year. Reds have done very well against the Central Division in 2013. They are 19-14 against their own division this year. The Brewers almost the exact opposite. They've only won 11 of 30 games within the division. This year, when you're playing each team 19 times in your own division, almost half your games against your own division, imperative that you do well. That's a fair ball by Cozart, and down into the corner it goes. This is going to make him a 2-for-2 day thus far. Cozart cruises into second with his 14th double of the year. And a great chance for the Reds here in the bottom of the third.
A nice little Father's Day present right there, leading off the third inning. Zach Cozart, boy, that ball sounded good coming off the bat right here as he rips it down the left field line.
Here's Votto. Zach just continues to see his average climb. He was right around the 200 mark for the longest time. Started today at 245, and he's 2 for 2. Votto lined one into the hole in the left side of the infield and into left his first time. He does that here. Hits the ball in the same spot. It may score. Cozart. Schaefer's deep and pretty much straight away out there in left field. Two balls and no strikes. Reds now with 3 hits. Brewers have the same. Strike at the knees, 2-1.
I'll tell you, after that previous pitch, you know, when Joe Votto found out the difference between 95 at the knees and 95 on the knees, he was bailing out there with his legs a little bit. I'd like to see him get that ball over to the right side and bounce the runner at the very least.
He hits it to first, bobbled by Francisco, and they get the out as Peralta covers. He's having a dickens of a time over there at first base so far today. Cozart does move up. Now he's at third with less than 2 out. A couple of chances to get him home.
Good solid job by Votto right there, who clearly would rather hit the ball oftentimes to left field than pull it. But he knew what he had to do there, and he gets the job done.
So the first chance to get that go-ahead run home goes to Brandon Phillips, and he'll do it against a drawn-in infield. Looking for, as a minimum here, his 56th run batted in. Big cut and a miss. Phillips is currently tied for the National League lead in sacrifice flies. With Adrian Gonzalez of the Dodgers, each has 6. And that's as a minimum what he'd like to do right here. We've talked about the fact that he is very good with hitting and running in scoring position.
Well, you're going to change see a change in approach right here for Brandon. 2 big swings, or a big swing right there on the second one anyway, and then with 2 strikes, spreads his feet a little bit more, gets his hands a little closer to his body. With the infield in, you just need to pop that ball into the outfield to get the job done and give the Reds the lead.
Stays alive with a foul ball.
That's kind of an odd stat right here. I mean, they keep every number there is, but after Willie Peralta goes 0-2 on a hitter, you think, hey, you're in the driver's seat, you're going to put him away right here. But the opponent batting average is 381 mainly, and it's over 43 at bats, so it's got a decent sample size, mainly because the guy kind of nibbles around, and he can't really put you away because he doesn't have the command to do so.
Off the pitcher's glove. That'll get a run home. Phillips is out at first. Peralta mad at himself out on the mound as the runner from third, Cozart, broke on contact. He scores. The Reds have taken a 2-1 lead.
Now let's take a look at this RBI off the pitcher's glove by Brandon Phillips. First couple of swings right there in the AB. This is all brought to you by Mazda. And he fouls the pitch off, and a good pitch by Peralta, gets a little check swing back, and he's thinking, hey, I got it. No, I don't. And when the ball got away from Peralta, Zach Cozart comes in, and the Reds score another run due to a fielding mishap by the Brewers. Now that'll go down as an earned run because they did get it out of first base, but that's one of those plays that if you're Ron Renicky in the Brewer dugout, you're thinking, man, you don't see that very often. Brandon doesn't see that very often. He gets an RBI, a little tapper back to the pitcher.
Number 56 and a 2-1 Reds lead.
Now all of a sudden Peralta's got a little fire lit, and he's throwing the hardest fastball of the day at 97.
Ron Renicky thinking in that dugout, we need to tighten things up a little bit.
Cozart's going on contact right here, so he's a dead duck. If Peralta fields this ball and simply comes up, throws a reasonable throw to the plate.
Drive by Bruce. Way up into the sun deck out in right. Home run for Jay. Number 12. 3-1 Reds. His team leading 12th of the year.
Now, there are no doubters, and there are no doubters, not even for a nanosecond. I mean, that ball was smoked way out of here.
Sliced that ball into the seats and left on Friday night in the bottom of the 10th to win it. And he yanks this one, as you say, way up the bleachers for that 12th home run of the year for number 32. 3-1 Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 3rd. Xavier Paul walked his first time. Meanwhile, update down in Miami. The Marlins have taken a 2-1 lead over the Cardinals. Miami batting in the bottom of the 4th. That's Tyler Lyons for St. Louis against Ricky Nolasco of the Marlins. While the Pirates are in a delay against the Dodgers in Pittsburgh, bad weather there. Scheduled starters are Zach Greinke of LA, Garrett Cole of the Pirates. (3-1) Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 3rd. Popped into left field. Segura handles it, the shortstop, putting an end to the bottom of the 3rd. But Jay Bruce, his 12th home run of the year, team leader in that department, adds to the Reds' advantage. It's now 3-1 Cincinnati through 3. Seattle Mariners. That's Saturday, July the 6th here at the ballpark. The first 20,000 fans in attendance will receive a Jay Bruce t-shirt thanks to Reds Cherry Ice. Celebrate your 4th of July weekend with the Reds and enjoy all the baseball action, giveaways, and all that comes with it. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or log on to reds.com/July. 3 inning totals: 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Reds 1-3-1 Milwaukee. Last run coming from Jay Bruce's 12th Home run of the year, second of this series. Well, Johnny Cueto, 45 pitches through 3. It's Jonathan Lucroy to lead it off. Lucroy hit a pretty good pitch into the right field corner for a double his first time. 2 for 3 in the game yesterday. It's this ball in the air and playable for Joey Votto. 1 out. Batter will be Logan Schaefer. Schaefer, another one, has been swinging a good bat. You see what his numbers are in this series. 6 for 10. Came into this game hitting over 400 in his last 13 games. This is a former 3rd round pick by Milwaukee. Out of San Jose, California, only 26 years old. He sticks up here with the Brewers all year. It'll be his first full year in the major leagues. Schaefer made his debut back in 11, 5 at bats. Last year, 23. He'll swing and miss at the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. He's tagged out. And that's the first strikeout for Cueto this afternoon.
Johnny looked a little bit iffy there in the first inning. He gave up a home run, then a double, but ever since that time, he has retired, 9 out of the last 10 batters that he's faced.
And really did a good job of pitching to Segura, who had that swinging bunt. So he looks for his second 1-2-3 inning of this afternoon's game, if he can get the former teammate Juan Francisco. Francisco hit the first pitch he saw his first time up, lined it out into right field. Caught by Bruce. This young man still only 25 years old. Broke in as a 22-year-old the Reds back in 2009. Well, he had a couple of windows of opportunity with Cincinnati, but it seemed like whenever Scott Rowland was hurt and Francisco would have the chance, he was also hurt. And finally, right before the start of last year, Francisco traded to Atlanta for J.J. Hoover. And at the beginning of this month, after not quite a year and a half with the Braves, traded from Atlanta here to Milwaukee. There's J.J. Lucroy popped up. Schaefer struck out. Francisco at 2-2. How about today? We are 1 month exactly away from 2013 Major League All-Star Game in New York this year at Citi Field, July the 16th. Midsummer Classic. You still have time to vote. You see it here at the ballpark during home games, right behind home plate. Vote Reds. Reds.com. Last report, both Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips were leading in their respective positions in fan voting. Later tonight, the updated tallies will come out. think last week Shin-Soo Choo was 5 in outfield voting. Jay Bruce was down a ways. Swing and a miss by Francisco. So back-to-back strikeouts for Johnny Cueto. Gives him his second 1-2-3 inning of this afternoon's game. Your Toyota dealer or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the JTM Food Group, let's create great dishes together. Johnny Cueto pretty sharp in this game through 4.
Well, I said at the onset that the comparison between these two pitchers is very close. They are physically very similar, both big, broad-shouldered, hard-throwing right-handers, but Willie Peralta being a little bit younger, his delivery a little bit rawer, if you want to look at it that way. And one of the things you look at is how long a guy stays over the rubber and where his foot is right here and when he releases the baseball. And Johnny Cueto, as you can see, his foot is almost touching the ground upon release. That's where you want to be. But Peralta has got some distance there between the pitching rubber and his foot, which means when he lands, he's a little bit more out of control than a pitcher who's got better balance. And that may be one of the explanations why Willie Peralta, although he throws very hard, almost averages 95 on his fastball, doesn't have quite the control in the zone, or maybe the command in the zone, that Johnny Cueto does.
Willie Peralta falls behind Hanahan here to start the bottom of the 4th.
When you say falls behind, that's also relevant to say when you watch Willie Peralta from behind, and we see that every pitch on the center field camera, he seems to be falling off a little bit towards the first base bag, but as he gets his left leg up, he almost arches his back a little bit, Peralta does, and kind of takes his thrust away from home plate. And you see how he turns all the way over there like that? Just one of those things that as you pitch more and more innings in major leagues, you probably begin to correct that.
Three and two now to Hanahan.
Here's what we're really talking about right here. As he begins, you'll see a little bit of an arch right there. And where he's got his power going this way, he's trying to throw the ball this way. And, you know, eventually I think that he'll probably get the idea where he won't waste as much energy going towards first base.
Gapper toward left center. That gets down, goes all the way to the wall. Hanahan will glide into second with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the fourth. Fifth hit, I should say, for the Reds in this game. Third double of the year for Jack Hanahan. You're in business.
Hanahan goes very nicely with a pitch located down and away right there. He splits the seam between left and center. And for the third inning in a row, the Reds have the leadoff runner on. Second inning in a row where they've led off with a double.
And they will try to add to what is right now a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the fourth. Hannigan bounced into a force play his first time. Pickoff play at second, and just getting back in there is Hanahan.
Well, he's got a pretty quick move right there, and he throws the ball. It looks like on the money. I don't know what happened right there, except that Gene Segura missed the tag.
He put the ball down, a pretty nifty piece of handwork right there.
The ball was certainly there before Hanahan got back to the bag. Looks like that Rob Drake is a stickler for making him actually tag the runner. Nice to see that.
Why shouldn't he be? Yeah. Hannigan has caught all 3 games of this series. He was a starter on Friday night with Bronson Arroyo on the mound, yesterday afternoon with Homer Bailey, and today here with Cueto. Ground ball to the left side will force Hanahan to stay put. Hannigan is out 6-3. Batter now will be Johnny Cueto. One in the second, 2 in the third for the Reds. Leading 3-1. Trying once again to go 14 games over 500. That would be their high water mark. Equal that. Johnny had the squeeze bunt his first time. Gets the run batted in. No at bat. Here's a look at it.
That was Zach Cozart bearing down the line. Making Xavier Paul bearing down the line. Johnny had to lay that bunt down, or Paul would have been a dead duck. He gets it right down there and perfectly done.
It's the first RBI of the year for Johnny Cueto. Here he is with a runner at second, trying to move him along. But he's down 2 strikes.
Still not the greatest form. I mean, if you're teaching young kids out there, one of the things you want to make sure you do in your bunting, you move up in the batter's box as far as you can. The other is that you keep the bat at a little bit of an angle, not drop the bat head. And because when you start to drop the bat head, you start to poke at the ball. All that easier said than done. But Johnny could use a little moving up. There he's moving up now. Or it's so easy in BP. When you have Porky Lopez throwing a ball out there about 65 miles an hour, right down the middle. Then you get a guy like Willie Peralta up there dealing it at 95, really not sure where it's going with a hammer of a slider. Not an easy thing to do, lay that bunt down sometimes.
Showed bunt, took a swing. Peralta will throw to third as Hanahan now in a rundown. Betancourt runs him back to the bag. Segura missed him
out of the baseline.
Out of the baseline. Peralta was way over between the mound and the first base line when he spun around and fired that ball over to third and Betancourt.
Well, what happens there is that you don't get as good a jump on a swing than you do on a bunted ball. And that's why Hanahan got a very slow break going to third base. And Peralta just deals it over to third base, and from there Hanahan's a dead duck.
And here now is where he goes out of the baseline. So Cueto runs with 2 out for Derek Robinson. Derek today is 0 for 2 in the series, hitless in 6 at-bats. His average there for a short while was up over the 300 mark. Now at 275. Hit to the gap in right center field by Robinson. That'll get down for a hit. Over to cut it off is Gomez. Cueto hustles into third. That's a double for Robinson. And the Reds, with a little 2-out rally here, have a chance to add to this 3-1 lead.
Yeah, the fact that Johnny Cueto is running the bases is the reason why the Reds have not scored a run in this inning. If Cueto been able to get the runner over to third base, or if Jack Hanahan had just stayed at second and not tried to advance on the swinging bunt. This hit right here by Derek Robinson, as he turns on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, he knows it's a base hit right away. Chris Spires holding him up all the entire time.
Johnny catching his breath over at third, giving a chance here for Cozart, who has a pair of hits today, a single and a double. He gets a knock here, it could mean a pair. 6 hits now for the Reds. Cozart trying to come through in the clutch here in the bottom of the 4th. Reds trailed early 1-0 on a home run ball by Carlos Gomez. With 3 straight unanswered, trying to make that 4 or 5 with something here from their shortstop. Cues that ball to second. And Weeks will throw him out to retire the side. So a pair of doubles in the inning, but no runs cross the plate. Through 4, 3-1 Cincinnati. Time moment of the game brought to you by Miller Lite. And we invite you to kick off your 4th of July weekend here at the ballpark when the Reds begin a 3-game series. That's against the Seattle Mariners on Friday, July the 5th. After the game, stick around for a post-game fireworks show featuring a soundtrack picked by the main man, Dusty Baker, the manager of the Reds, presented by PNC Bank. It's a weekend of baseball, fireworks, and giveaways, July 5th through the 7th. Get tickets by calling 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/July to purchase tickets. And let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question of the afternoon. Who were the players traded the last time the Reds and Brewers made a deal? Who were the players traded the last time Milwaukee and Cincinnati made a deal? Think about it now.
I am thinking about it. I'm not sure I can come up with the answer.
I refuse to believe that. Not that far back.
Okay.
Can I give you a hint?
Sure.
It was the division title year of 2010.
That's the best hint you can do.
That's a pretty good hint. It's a darn good hint.
Can't give me initials or
fight through the fog and
position.
see if you can get it. Come on now.
Now you're asking the impossible.
Ricky Weeks to lead it off here in the fifth. We won't hear a word now from Chris as he tries to figure out who those players are. Weeks flied out his first time, and he'll tap out this time. Back to the mound, and Johnny Cueto. 1 pitch, 1 out here in inning number 5. Johnny had thrown 57 pitches through 4 innings, only a dozen pitches last inning. He's actually been very efficient today. 15, 15, 15, 12, and now 1 pitch, 1 out here. Betancourt flied to right his first time. Certainly sharper in this return from the DL than he was that first one against New York. To third, and Hanahan makes the play, and Betancourt is retired.
Now, when you see Johnny Cueto getting ground balls, you know that things are beginning to get right. In the first couple of innings, he only threw 1 ground ball. Got a line out to right, a fly out to right, 3 fly balls in the second inning. But you can see the pitch counts right there, inning by inning, and then also the fact that he's getting guys to roll over on it a little bit more. That's his game.
Only 3 pitches so far this inning to retire 2 out. Now he has the pitcher up, Peralta. He's headed toward the dugout as that pitch called a strike. Got it out to the shortstop, Cozart, his first time. And he'll line one back up the middle his next time. So a 2-out single by the pitcher keeps the Brewers' 5th going.
But he's probably up there taking a strike because they didn't want to have Johnny Cueto have a 4-pitch inning. So he takes a first pitch strike, and Cueto throws a fastball down Broadway, and Peralta goes right back through the box to get a base hit.
I'll turn the order over and bring up Norichika Aoki. Wondering when the Reds will see this Brewers club again. Part of a 7-game road trip right before the All-Star break. Reds will go to Milwaukee for 3, July 8th through the 10th. Then go to Atlanta for 4, which will take us to the All-Star break. That'll be the first visit into Milwaukee for the Reds. First of 3 they will make this year. Another one in August, another one in September. Brewers will come back here one more time. That is in late August. Aoki is grounded out, flied out, putting him 2 for 10 in this series. Slaps this ball to the short. Goes out on a close play, gets him at first. 4 batters and out in inning number 5. Reds 3-1 leaders, middle of the 5th. Father's Day 2013 here in Cincinnati, 3-1 in favor of the Reds. You see a lot of dads with sons out of the ballpark, 2 generation, 3 generation. Who knows, probably around the ballpark, maybe 4 generations of families enjoying Reds baseball here on this Sunday afternoon. Young Brandon Phillips fan right there. Reds fans, remember, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Maggie Domanio from Mason, Ohio, proud owner of a 2013 Camry, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by visiting your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Go back to the trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Who were the players traded the last time the Reds and the Brewers made a deal? Did you come up with anything?
I didn't, but a couple of friends of mine texted me the answers they thought it might be. Chris Dickerson and Jim Edmonds.
How about that?
How about that? Well, David Hill, right for once.
Chris Dickerson and Jim Edmonds, August 9th, 2010. Votto to lead it off. Phillips and Bruce to follow against Willie Peralta. He has thrown 77 pitches through 4. Votto had a hit his first time. Moved to a runner along with a bounce out to the right side his last time. Started the day 8th in the league in hitting at .315.
First time in this ball game that Votto has come to the plate with nobody on base.
I don't know about you, Chris, but I remember as a youngster growing up, going to ball games with my dad at big league ballparks, going to American Legion games over the course of the summer, watching baseball, learning the game of baseball. It's great to see all the kids out here today with their fathers, enjoying Father's Day and advancing this great game, isn't it?
It really is. I know for a fact that when my dad and I came to the ball game, he was the kind of dad that we would be the first one in the ballpark, not to get autographs, but he wanted to watch batting, and we were the last ones to leave.
Taking the whole experience.
We go down there and park. Of course, when Crosley Field was around, there wasn't very much parking, and you have to park in a neighborhood. There'd be a guy in the neighborhood there. You park out in front of the house, and he'd say, "Hey, I watched your car for $5." So you pay him the $5, and my dad would, and we'd go to watch a ball game. When you came back, there'd be a different guy sitting on the hood of the car. He'd say, "Hey, I watched your car for $5." So you have to pay him too.
Entrepreneurship at its finest, right?
Well, you're right. Go to the ballpark with your dad. Nothing like it.
Now, I didn't grow up around here, so what was it like to go to games at Crosley?
Well, I was a youngster, but it was really pretty cool. It's the only thing we knew. Of course, this was before Riverfront was built, so I had no idea what Riverfront Stadium would be when they finally had that huge stadium built, a multi-purpose stadium. We thought that was great when they first moved in, because it was the first look that us local kids ever had at AstroTurf. But Crosley Field smelled like a ballpark.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same feel you get when you walk into Fenway or you walk into Wrigley Field. It's just kind of the same smell of a ballpark, and you get it pretty close here because of the green grass. You have natural grass here. Of course, this is far better than Crosley Field ever was as far as fan enjoyment. Great American Ballpark. The sidelines are awesome. Ushers and people who work here are just wonderful.
Phillips lines out, 2 men out. Isn't it great, though, that the evolution of baseball has brought it back to natural turf?
Yeah.
Away from the rug?
Well, I think you see a better brand of baseball, too, because you see players now that are more likely to dive for baseballs on grass, so they would not want to leave their feet and land on that hard turf. The main reason that they played with turf was that these multi-purpose stadiums, could host football, baseball, tractor pulls, and everything else in between, and never had to worry about trying to grow grass to make it look good.
Hard on the knees of the players back in those days, wasn't it?
I better believe it.
Big Red Machine played all those games on turf. Davey Concepcion came up with the bounce throw to first. You look at those highlights now back in those days, and sometimes that turf is faded. It's hard to see the ball.
Kind of like our memories. Well, mine anyway.
Yours, yeah. Speak for yourself. Yeah, you went from all those cookie cutter stadiums to these retro ballparks that have gone up all over baseball. Really been a great evolution there. I don't know that there's any of those cookie cutters left, is there? Well, maybe in Oakland. Is Oakland, Reds will visit Oakland later this year. One of the few, if not the only ballpark left where they play multi-sports. I guess Toronto might be one too. That's a turf field. Well, folks here should feel very fortunate to have this beautiful ballpark they can call home. Bruce strikes out. Reds go down in order for the first time in this game, and we're through 5 on Father's Day. 3-1 Reds. Come on down, check out the Joe Morgan exhibit. Get an inside look, I should say, into the career of the Hall of Famer Joe Morgan, with never before seen items from his personal collection. That includes game used equipment, rare photos, and lots of good Joe Morgan memorabilia. Plan your next trip to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum by visiting redsmuseum.org. Joe's number, of course, right below the radio booths. Retired. Number 8. Number 47 back to the mound here in the 6th inning. 1-2-3 second, 1-2-3 fourth. 4-batter third, 4-batter fifth. 66 pitchers through 5 for Cueto.
Yeah, that's an operative number right there, or at least an important one, because Dusty Baker didn't want to put a number on it, but you got to figure they're not going to let Johnny Cueto go real deep into this game, numbers wise, as far as pitch numbers wise. Although the way the Brewers come out swinging early in the count, he may be able to get a couple more innings in,
as he did in the 5th. He gets a first pitch out here in the 6th.
Little two-seamer running right in on the hands of Gene Segura. It's a pretty good swing right there that kid has. I'll tell you, you can see where he really gets the power. He uses his legs. Cueto got that ball in on his thumbs.
Here now is Carlos Gomez. He's accounted for the only Brewer run, and what about that? He swung at the first pitch. Homered in the first, hit into a force play that ended the 3rd. His 2 hits and 11 at bats in this series for Gomez. That home run is team leading 12th back in the 1st inning.
I mean, nothing wrong with swinging at the first pitch. Coming into this ball game today, Gomez has shown that he can handle the first pitch. He's batting over 400 with 4 home runs when he swings and puts that first pitch in play.
He's down 2 strikes here.
16 of his 36 ribbies have come in because he hits that first pitch.
Foul ball. Well, he's seen 5 pitches in this game today and swung at them all. How about that? There's a unique look. He's got the prostate cancer research wristband on his ankle. Guess in case his ankle starts to sweat, he'll be covered. First pitch he's taken today right there. 1-2.
They said it couldn't be done.
Johnny Cueto's been very good today in getting the leadoff hitter. Brewers have not had a leadoff man on in any of their 6 innings. Jonathan Lucroy waits on deck. Jumps on that pitch, yanks it foul. That's right down there near the Fox, Ohio condominium. We don't want to wake up Jim Day and Jeff Pecora in case they're catching a little catnap down there today.
Hey, one thing about Gomez, boy, he takes a hack, doesn't he? I mean, he really doesn't change his approach all that much with 2 strikes on him. Got him on a good slider right there. Good location, good speed.
3rd strikeout for Cueto.
Well, he hit a hanging slider earlier in the ballgame for a home run. That time Johnny just went down to the bottom of the zone and beyond, and Gomez chased it.
Well, that thing seemed to just drop right out of the hitter's zone, didn't it? No walks, 3 strikeouts for Cueto. Try to put away LaCroix and get through this 6th inning. Jonathan doubled in the 1st, popped up in the 4th. The only damage the Brewers have done came in the 1st inning. A 2-out homer by Gomez to make it 1-0 Milwaukee. Then the double by Lucroy to right. Since then, they have not put a runner past first base. Well, you've just got to be super impressed with the job that Cueto has done, coming off the disabled list for the 2nd time this year. He was on back in 09, on again in 2011. Various and sundry injuries. He had the playoff problem last year. Pulled out of that first game out in San Francisco. Oblique strain. He had the lat strain earlier this year. Basically a reoccurrence of that some 2 weeks or so ago. Ready to roll here today, and he has looked sharp. 80th pitch. Foul ball. All quiet down in the Reds bullpen.
Well, they didn't used to do that down at Crosley Field. Get a ground ball down the line where the ball boy would catch it and then hand it into the stands.
What'd they do then?
They thought those baseballs were like gold bricks. They rotate them back into the game.
Used them a little bit longer back in those days.
They used it for innings and innings at a time.
Lined in the left, and that'll fall in front of Xavier Paul. Well, Lucroy, who had a multi-hit game yesterday, has another one here today.
Now, even the hits, other than the home run that Carlos Gomez hit in the 1st inning, have really not all been hit that hard. You know, it was an opposite field double that Lucroy hit in the 1st inning. That little hit right there was, you know, harmless 2-out hit. Willie Peralta with a little grounder up the middle. Gene Segura with a swinging bunt. So even when they have been able to get on base against Johnny Cueto, they have not hit the ball all that hard. I would imagine now, Jim, that they use more baseballs in 1 inning in a 19 or in a major league game here in 2013 than they did in an entire ball game back in, say, you know, 67 or so, towards the end of the days of Crosley Field.
And you're a former pitcher. Answer me this. I don't understand these days why, when a ball hits the ground on the way to the plate or wherever, the catcher will throw the ball out of play immediately. Why wouldn't they want to keep that ball that might be scuffed up a little bit in play?
Well, he's just saving the extra effort of the umpire, saying, let me take a look at that ball. The umpires have been instructed to throw balls out that have any kind of blemish on them in the event that a pitcher's trying to get an advantage. Of course, that would never happen.
Ball companies love that, don't they? Those balls then that are put out of play go right into that batting practice cage, right?
Mm-hmm. Or they're sold as game used equipment, or they get packaged up and sent down to one of the minor league teams that's looking for some batting practice balls.
That ball goes out of play, foul, goes back toward the first base coach's box. That one becomes a souvenir.
I know. I remember when I was at the San Diego Padres. You know, now you see these ball players during batting practice throwing balls into the stands.
Sure.
You know, I did that one day, and I had found a little pink chit on my the bench inside the clubhouse. It had my name on it and had a bill for $5.
Boy, oh boy.
Now, I didn't have to pay the $5, but it was a message that was sent saying, you know, we saw you from up in the press box level, some club official, giving a ball away, and we don't want you to do that anymore.
Now they use it to their advantage in terms of the game of baseball as the ultimate souvenir. Where else can you get that? No other sport. Reds do now have some action in the bullpen as Cueto approaches 90. In terms of pitches, Alfredo Simon, you saw him up and throwing. Logan Schaefer, pair of 3-hit games in this series coming into today, is lined out and struck out. He represents the tying run. Now he'll get a look at a full count pitch. That means Luke Croy will be on the move from first. Johnny's almost thrown a quarter of his pitches right here in this 6th inning.
Yeah, he wants to finish this inning because he's got some bullpen activity down there. And he knows if this inning gets prolonged that he may not be around.
Should get it here. He fields that ball, puts the tag on Schaefer, and ends the top of the 6th inning. So 87 pitches through 6 for Cueto. $7 million people in America each year through pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters. Visiting feedingamerica.org/Fox Sports, and you can learn all you need to know about fighting hunger in your community. Together, we're feeding America. Johnny Cueto, 6 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Is he finished, or will he go back to the mound? He's due up 4th in this inning. Right around the 90 pitch mark for him here this afternoon. Trying to stay perfect on the year. Trying to stay perfect against the Brewers here at Great American Ballpark in his career. Remember, we talked about earlier, he's 4-0 in 7 starts against the Brewers here, which the team has gone 6-1. Xavier Paul leads it off in the bottom of the 6th. Paul today's walked and scored. He scored on that squeeze bunt by Cueto back in the 2nd. Popped out to the shortstop to end the 3rd. Pulls this into the right side. Backhand pick by Juan Francisco for out number 1. 4 Reds baseball tomorrow. That means more opportunity for you to tune into Reds Live pregame here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. That'll be tomorrow night at 6:30. Prior to the game at 7:10 against the Pirates. Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro handling those duties. Here's Hanahan. Double to start the fourth his last time up. He's been on twice today. He reached on that error by Ricky Weeks back in the second. Big error, and that we thought off the bat that had a real chance to be a double play ball. Instead, the ball took a high hop on Weeks, who then threw it low. Francisco didn't do a great job over at first to catch or even stop the ball. It got by him. In the end, Cueto squeezed home a run that tied the game back in the bottom of the second. Simon is still up in the Reds bullpen, throwing leisurely now. Did it hit him? No, it did not. Foul ball. Came up and in on Jack Hanahan. One man out, bottom of the sixth. There's Hannigan in the background. The Reds catcher waits next. Anybody gets on, then we'll have the idea of what Dusty Baker has in mind regarding Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, that last shot that we showed you, the Exmo shot. I think it was the Munchin's Furniture Exmo shot. Show you something that we never knew before Exmo. And that was that almost all the time when a catcher catches a pitch ball and the batter swings, the catcher closes his eyes or at least blinks at the time. It's something that you can't help yourself from doing. Never realized that back in the old days.
Ball four. Maybe not as exaggerated as when, say,
Johnny Cueto tried to lay that bunt down. Yeah.
Johnny will see that and get a kick out of it, I would guess. Well, the walk for Hanahan puts him aboard for the third time today. Hannigan is up, and as we look in the on-deck circle, it's Donald Lutz. So the end of the day has been reached by Johnny Cueto. Pretty good first effort back after being on the DL with no rehab appearance.
Well, if it is indeed over with, there's no doubt about it.
Willie Peralta, meanwhile, is due up fourth in the seventh inning, so surely this is going to be it for him. In fact, if he can't get this batter, he may be finished. We'll take a look at the Milwaukee bullpen, see if there's any action down there. And indeed there is. Michael Gonzalez is throwing. There's the Milwaukee left-hander, one of two they have in their bullpen. The other, the veteran Tom Gorzolani. Hannigan today 0 for 2. Talking about birthday wishes earlier today, we should pass along one to Reds reliever. Oh, there's a ball hit hard into left center field. Off the bat of Hannigan, off the wall. Here comes the runner racing to third. He'll stop there. A double for Ryan Hannigan, and the Reds have a great chance here to extend their lead, which sits at 3-1, second and third with one out.
Ryan Hannigan trying to keep up with the Milwaukee Brewer catcher Jonathan Lucroy, who already has a double to his credit. This one is hit very well by Hannigan. He just goes down to get that bad boy in the lower part of the strike zone and lines it all the way to the left center field wall.
Third double of the year for Hannigan. Second and third, one out. Donald Lutz will come off the bench to pinch hit. Ron Renicky out of the dugout to go to the mound. Brewers have already signaled they want to change pitchers, so that's the end of the line here for the right-hander Willie Peralta. Brewers will make a pitching change. Renicky takes the baseball from his starter. Michael Gonzalez has been throwing in the bullpen. This is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. 3-1 Reds. Pitching change, Milwaukee. It all down to you. That is the Reds Live post-game show brought to you by King's Honda, the King's Auto Mall. Visit King'sHondaUSA.com. Comes up directly after each and every Reds game that you see here on Fox, Ohio. Johnny Cueto finished. 6 innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball. No walks, 3 strikeouts. Very good performance. Now Michael Gonzalez on to face the lefty Lutz.
He's a veteran. 470th game he's been in the major leagues for Gonzalez. Left-handed specialist.
Infield is in. Lutz pitched hit in the game yesterday in the 7th inning and struck out. When he was first called up from AA Pensacola, it was basically 3 players who were vying for time out in left field. Robinson, Paul, and Lutz. But in the last couple of weeks, Lutz has kind of gone straight into the bench role, and the other 2 have been getting the time in left.
Now this is where, when you don't have a right-handed pinch hitter with any thump on the bench, you're really hamstrung, as Dusty Baker is. And you know, Ron Renicky knows that. He knows that there's nobody else to go to. So there's no ploy of sending Lutz up there to bring a left-hander in, then pinch hitting a right-hander in his place. Well, Frazier, I guess, could come off the bench and could hit right here, but he doesn't have to.
Up the middle for Lutz. Hanahan scores. Here comes Hannigan to the plate. Throw is wide. Down to second goes Lutz. Bad throw back toward the second base bag, but a good job of backing up by the left fielder Schaefer. But a big pinch hit 2-run single for Donald Lutz makes it 5-1 Reds.
It's got to be so satisfying for Donald Lutz right there. Lefty on lefty. Bangs it right through the box. Young man that grew up in Germany playing hockey. A little slap action through the box for 2 runs right there. Those are big runs.
Donald had been 3 for 13 against left-handers this year, but without an RBI. So his first runs batted in against a southpaw right here in a big situation. Heads up base running. He took second on the throw home and was ready to move to third had Schaefer not done a good job of backing that errant throw up from the cutoff man, Betancourt. Top of the order now, Robinson. Turns around and bats from his better side, the right side. Well, Hannigan was chugging around third, giving it all he had to get to the plate. Throw came wide home from Gomez. Donald Lutz, 2 RBIs, gives him 8 now on the year. Those runs charged to Willie Peralta. That closes the book on the Milwaukee starter. 5 runs, all earned. 7 hits and 5 1/3. Not totally dissimilar to the line he had the first go round when he allowed 4 runs, 5 hits in 6 innings back on May the 12th. That is strike 3 called to Robinson.
Box track shows that to be rather generous strike zone by Sam Holbrook.
Well, now Cozart will try to pick up Lutz out at second base. Reds trying to make it 2 out of 3 against this Milwaukee club. Out hit the Reds here Friday night 12-7, but the Reds won 4-3. Yesterday they out hit the Reds 8-7 and winning 6-0. Today the Reds have out hit the Brewers 8-5 en route so far to a 5-1 lead.
Now that's a curveball that Michael Gonzalez is so famous for, all the years that he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coming out of the bullpen with Atlanta for 3+ years.
Hit hard toward left center, but Schaefer got a nice jump on it, makes the catch. Good wood there by Cozart, but the inning comes to an end. But Donald Lutz, a big 2-run pinch hit single, and the Reds lead 5-1.
With brought to you by Head and Shoulders, now with a hit of Old Spice. How about the 3 strikeouts from Johnny Cueto today? All of them came on off-speed pitches, a slider, a changeup, and finally a curveball. Slider again puts Carlos Gomez away, and 3 strikeouts, nobody walked by Johnny Cueto, and he gets a big hearty congratulations from his manager Dusty Baker, and he leads this ball game right now 5-1 after a 6-inning performance. Nice job by Cueto.
Really couldn't ask for much more from Johnny today, could you?
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, every time he pitches, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. The key is keeping him healthy and on the field. Well, the Reds will go to the bullpen, and they will bring in a right-hander. Alfredo Simon has come in now for the 25th time this year. Interesting, we had a conversation in between innings, and this was all really brought up, I presume, by John Fay on Twitter, who made a suggestion, to those who follow him on Twitter, that this would be an ideal situation for Tony Cingrani to come in, pitch. Maybe the Reds could get 3 innings out of the left-hander. After all, it's his day to pitch. And you'd save your bullpen.
Off the pitcher to Phillips, and that'll go down as a 1-4-3 putout to retire Juan Francisco to start the 7th. That's an interesting idea, and not one without merit.
But they're poised at the top step of the dugout. Now here Brian Price and Paul Assard, the trainer, will come out to talk to Alfredo Simon. He's looking at him like, what are you doing out here? They got me in the leg. I'm all right.
In the quad area, it looks like.
I think Lassard has a TV appearance clause in his contract that needs to get a little bit of face time from time to time. Good trainer and a great guy. But that just goes to his total right there, and I'm not sure what the over-under is on his TV appearances, but I think we need to see a little less of him on the field, because when he's on the field, it means there's a possibility of someone being injured.
Yeah, we'd all vote for that.
Yeah. We love him, though.
Good man. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. It's now Ricky Weeks who is flied out, grounded out.
Now, the idea by John Fay. Now, John Fay, of course, is the reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer that follows the ball club as the beat writer. That's a pretty good idea. It's a little thinking outside of the box, because normally what you have is the way you manage the end of the ball game. And Dusty Baker, like most managers, has it mapped out. This is what I like to do here. If I've got a lead, that's a 1-run lead. If it's a 4-run lead, I like to do this in this inning, and so on. Not a bad idea.
Shot into left by Weeks. Over to cut it off on 1 hop is Paul. And Ricky Weeks has himself a 1-out 7th inning hit.
2 batters and 2 hard hit balls right there off of Alfredo Simon.
Started to mention earlier when Hannigan got his double that we failed to pass along a birthday wish earlier today. Reds right-hander Jonathan Broxton, who yesterday went on the DL, celebrating birthday number 29 here on Father's Day 2013. So happy birthday to Jonathan. Reds also made the announcement earlier today that Chris Heisey, who's been on the disabled list since near the end of April, who's been out on 2 different occasions on rehab assignments that have not worked out. One down in Pensacola where he played only a half an inning and was taken out of the game due to a reoccurrence. And then before he even went to Louisville his last time, he felt something in that hamstring here and didn't go out. He's scheduled to go out apparently tomorrow on a rehab assignment. Base hit up the middle here by Betancourt, and this is the first runner to reach second or further by the Brewers since Gomez homered and then Lucroy doubled in the 1st inning.
Well, Alfredo not fooling him right now. That's a 3rd consecutive hard hit ball, and he was very fortunate that the first one actually clipped him and turned into an out. That ball right back through the box. 3rd consecutive Brewer that has gone up the middle, and now Scooter Gennett will come up. His first major league home run here the other night.
Nice game here on Friday, going 3 for 5 with that first big leaguer. Yesterday 0 for 4. Chris talked about born in Cincinnati, went to grade school here at St. Francis, came back, played some amateur ball here, Tap third base side of the mound, and Simon's going to have to hurry, and does get Jeanette barely at first base. Goes down as a 1-3 putout. Betancourt advances. Second and third, 2 out for Aoki.
You know, to follow up on that conversation about using or not using Tony Cingrani, one of the things that I'm sure Brian Price and Dusty Baker discussed was, you know, the Pirates coming into town, they've got a lot of left-handers in their lineup.
Yes.
So maybe it would be worth saving Cingrani to face the Pirates rather than use him up and not be able to use him all the first 2 games of that series. It's never an easy decision. I guess the bottom line is that.
They have Neil Walker as a switch hitter, Garrett Jones, Pedro Alvarez, Travis Snyder, all left-handers. And that Pirate lineup, they'll be in here come tomorrow for 4 days. Miami piling it on today to the Cardinals and Tyler Lyons. It's now 7-1 Miami in the 8th inning. The Pirates are leading after a long delay in Pittsburgh. They're underway in the bottom of the first, leading 2-0 over the Dodgers. We're to 3.5 out on Friday when this series started. We're to 2.5 yesterday, back to 3.5 today. Things stay where they are now. Be back to 2.5 come tomorrow.
You on the air with me tomorrow?
You've got your main partner, Tom Brenneman, back tomorrow, and I flip over to the radio side.
Okay, well, I guess he's completed his PhD in vacations and is ready to come back and go to work.
You got a line for everything, don't you? You had a long stretch now with Tom over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. He's the one that needed the time off.
Good time in Chicago, I would guess you two had over there.
Oh, yeah.
Aoki in this game 0 for 3, 2 for 11 in the series. Now Simon and Hannigan will get together. Milwaukee does have action in their bullpen. Donovan Hand has been throwing, and John Axford. Meanwhile, on the Red side of things, bullpen wise, that's the right-hander Sam LeCure. Aoki has not struck out in this series. He came into this game as he did this series. Toughest to strike out in the National League. 1 strikeout every 21 plate appearances. In fact, the Brewers have 3 players in the top 10 in that list. That's a strikeout there of Aoki, so a rarity. A strikeout for the right fielder of the Brewers. Sends us to stretch time here at Great American Ballpark, and as always on Sunday, we'll keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America.
The men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Chris Hedges as he performs God Bless America.
With an entire week of Reds baseball, fireworks, and giveaways. Cheer on your Reds when they take on the San Francisco Giants July 1st through the 4th, and the Seattle Mariners July 5th through the 7th. Plus, don't miss 2 post-game fireworks shows, a Todd Frazier bobblehead, Jay Bruce t-shirt, and Reds Kids cap giveaways. All coming up. Great American Ballpark is the place to be July 1st through the 7th. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/July. Big week coming up. That's 2 weeks from now. 5-1 Reds. These dads who've come out with their sons today enjoying Reds baseball. Reds trying to go to 42 and 28. Some may be a little bit tired, but still had a good time. Meanwhile, a new pitcher on for Milwaukee, Donovan Hand.
We have seen Donovan Hand earlier in this series. Big right-hander from down in Alabama.
Big guy played collegiately at Jacksonville State University. Donovan Hand in his big league debut earlier this year. Votto, same spot he hit that ball his first time up. Back in inning number 1. He's had a 2-for-4 day. He leads off the 7th with a hit.
Now, I mentioned that he would prefer to hit the ball that way. In fact, he's hit the ball to left field each and every time up, except in the 2nd inning when he had Zach Cozart on and led off with a double. He needed to pull the ball, so he just takes it the other way and does that as well as anybody, including Sean Casey, who made a career out of hitting that ball exactly the same spot.
9 hits now for the Reds. They've hit the Brewers 9-7. One man who doesn't have a hit yet today is this man at the plate, Brandon Phillips, though he does have an RBI. His 56th of the year, putting him, when he picked it up earlier, only 3 behind Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona for the league lead in that department. Diamondbacks will play a little later on this afternoon out in San Diego. Reds aren't far from playing that Diamondbacks team. They'll have the Pirates in here for 4 Monday through Thursday, and then it's back to the desert and Phoenix, Arizona, where the Reds spend around 6 weeks or so, midway through February through the end of March for spring training out in Goodyear, and a 3-game series against Kirk Gibson's Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that's the beginning of a 3-city, about a 10-day road trip. The Reds will go from there to Oakland and finish up in Texas against the Rangers.
So you're going to see a first-place club in Arizona out of the West, a first-place club in Oakland out of the American League West, and the team that's right on their heels, the Texas Rangers. Be a telling road trip, won't it? Then you come home. They have the San Francisco Giants in town, and then Seattle. Weeks moving to his left will throw Phillips out at first. Out number 1. Votto moves up. Now he's in scoring position. Here's Jay Bruce. Big blast for him back in the 3rd inning. His 12th home run of the year, 2nd of this series, sitting at a team leading 12 long balls. Boy, that RBI total has climbed quickly. He had that tough month of April. He drove in 11. A big month of May with 24. Now he's sitting at 47 total. Right side, Weeks ranges over to get it, and Bruce is gone. Votto moves up another station. And so the RBI opportunity falls on the shoulders of Xavier Paul. 1 home run on each side today. Carlos Gomez in the first for Milwaukee is 12. Jay Bruce for the Reds in the third, his 12. X-Man today 0 for 2 with a walk. Votto led off the inning with a single, moved up on a Phillips ground ball, moved up again on a Bruce ground ball. Waiting at third to be driven in by Xavier Paul. Jade came in. Check that. Votto came in right amongst the league leaders in runs scored. He's not scored today. He came in at 52 along with Matt Holliday of the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals, all at 52, tied for second. Carlos Gonzalez of the Rockies, who has scored 55 times. All looking for number 25 in terms of RBIs right here. We'd like to get this thing ideally out of Grand Slam range. It's a 5-1 game now. A base hit could do just that. To the mound, Hand fields it, and the inning is over. So the leadoff single by Votto goes for naught. 7 stranded by the Reds through 7 here on Father's Day. Sunday afternoon. Scoring started in the top of the first. Carlos Gomez, his 12th of the year, against Cueto, made it 1-0. Squeeze play by Johnny. That came in the bottom of the second. Tied the game at 1 as Paul crossed the plate. Then Jay Bruce, part of a 2-run third, his 12th of the year. The Reds led 3-1 after 3. Meanwhile, Johnny Cueto on the disabled list. 15 days between starts. Back here today after last working on the 31st of July. Very, very good. 88 pitches, 6 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. In line to be the winner. That's today's Honda game summary. That's about it. The Brewers 9-7. Bruce has one of those hits today, that long ball. Alfredo Simon back to work here in the 8th. Gets Segura, Gomez, and Lucroy. 2, 3, 4 in Ron Renicke's order. Mentioned Ron is a former collegian at UCLA. We'll be watching his Bruins tonight take on the Tigers of LSU in the College World Series. Congratulations yesterday to Mississippi State, a come-from-behind win over Oregon State. And how about those Indiana Hoosiers a 2-0 win last night over the Louisville Cardinals. So Indiana and Mississippi State will play in the winners bracket tomorrow. Louisville and Oregon State in the losers side of things. More College World Series baseball today. Simon, a nice job to get Segura on a pop-up. Like rain falling here at the ballpark. Some of the fans headed up for shelter. Chris, you brought up a good point during the half-inning break today. A big anniversary in Reds baseball history.
Go back to 1978. It was the year in which Tom Seaver threw a no-hitter for the Cincinnati Reds. Of course, Reds celebrating back-to-back no-hitters by Johnny Vandermeer this weekend. It's kind of interesting that this is kind of a no-hit type of a year, isn't it? Or no-hit time of year.
Tom Seaver spent part of 77 to 82 with the Reds. Here he is against the Cardinals. That looked like silent George Hendrick with the at-bat there at the end.
First guy ever to wear his pants down around the shoes.
It was right there. June the 16th, 1978 against the Cardinals in a 4-0 win. Tom Seaver and the no-hitter. Hall of Famer, of course, won 311 games in his career with Cincinnati in 6 years, 75 and 46 with a 318.
Well, Carlos Gomez got that one right off his foot, and he's going back into that batter's box reluctantly and tentatively. Did he?
Indeed he did, says Sam Holbrook. There are 2 out.
So I see Gomez go off the field. You know, he started his career, he was signed as a minor league contract with the New York Mets. And when he was traded to the Minnesota Twins for Johan Santana, I say that because Johan Santana made an appearance in New York in the clubhouse for the Mets over the weekend, and maybe the last appearance he would make in New York. He's now not going to be able to play anymore. He's got a buyout on his contract next year. Boy, you look back at the deal that the Mets signed Johan Santana to. It cost them $143 million, including the buyout for next year, and they got 1 full season out of Santana. Now they also got a no-hitter, but they thought that he would be the guy that would kind of tilt the advantage. You get them deep into the postseason. You can never fault his effort because he worked as hard as anybody, but boy, injuries has beset his career and cost the Mets a whole lot of money in the process. Meanwhile, Carlos Gomez gets traded from there to Minnesota and then to Milwaukee here for J.J. Hardy.
Hardy's been a good everyday player for the Twins. Gomez seems right now to be finally fulfilling the potential that he's had here with this Minnesota club.
Well, there's the aforementioned Tony Cingrani on the right. Sam McCure, the right-hander, on the left. I would imagine Cingrani just getting some work in right now, just to make sure that he stays, in touch. Nasty.
Nice inning there by Alfredo Simon, who goes 2 innings in relief of the starter Johnny Cueto here this afternoon. game. It occurred back in the bottom of the second. Cueto at the plate. Squeeze is the call from Dusty Baker, and Johnny, despite closing those eyes, gets the bunt down, gets the run home, gets his first RBI of the season. And the Reds at that point tied the game at 1. That's a John Merrill hot dog play of the game. Johnny will get a kick out of that when he sees it, won't he?
I don't know if he'll see it quite with the same slow-mo that we saw it at, but I'm glad it was a successful one. Eyes closed and all. Burke Badenhop, the next pitcher for the Brewers. 34 times to this right-hander.
He becomes their 4th pitcher following the starter Willie Peralta, then Michael Gonzalez, then Donovan Hand, now Badenhop.
Now, Badenhop was the victim of that walk-off home run by Jay Bruce the other night. Young man is from Perrysburg High School up in Perrysburg, Ohio, not too far from Bowling Green State University, where he went and did his college ball. In fact, played for my old roommate Danny Schmitz up there.
Weeks will handle this one, and Hanahan is the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. Perrysburg, I was mentioning the other night, is right up there near Toledo, Ohio. Our good friend Jim Weber, the longtime radio play-by-play voice of the Toledo Mud Hens, lives in Perrysburg, Ohio. He's been at it for, I believe, something like 36, 37 years as the voice of the Hens. Longer than your man in Indianapolis, Howard Kellman. The only player in an active game, Chris Welsh, to talk to the radio announcer during a game.
Well, your man up in Toledo probably caught a few of the home run balls I gave up in the International League back in those days.
He would indeed.
There were plenty to go around.
You remember that old ballpark up there in Toledo?
Yeah, that was old Lucas County Stadium.
Yes,
back
indeed.
In the day, yeah.
The old horse track way back when. You'd have to walk through the stands to get to the clubhouse.
Well, I usually made that trip in reverse about the 3rd inning.
Not far from Detroit. What, about 45 minutes south of Detroit? All those people up there, big Tiger fans, but I imagine we have some Reds fans up there. Reds leading 5-1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Big series starts here tomorrow against that Pittsburgh Pirate crew. They were rain delayed early, but now in the 3rd at home, leading the Dodgers 2-1. 9th inning in Miami. The Marlins lead 7-2 over the Cardinals. So it appears as Hannigan will drop this ball down the right field line, but just foul. It appears that the Reds will be 2.5 games out of first place going into tomorrow. Things stay the way they are here and there. We'll get a look tomorrow at Mike Leake, 6-game winner. Tuesday night, Matt Latos, 6-game winner. Wednesday night, Bronson Arroyo, 6-game winner. Thursday afternoon in the wrap-up, 4-game winner Homer Bailey. Pirates will counter with tough lefty Francisco Lariano. Recently off the disabled list right-hander Charlie Morton, who's back from Tommy John surgery. Very impressive lefty Jeff Locke at 6-1, and to be announced for Thursday afternoon for the Pirates. Seats available for those games. Love to see you out here. Smash to center field by Hannigan. Back goes Gomez right at the edge of the track. He'll haul it in. 2 out. Those games are 7:10 Monday through Wednesday, 12:35 on Thursday, and all can be seen right here in Fox Sports Ohio. Badenhop gets the first 2 here in the bottom of the 8th. And now Alfredo Simon will bat for himself. Simon is 1 for 5 this year. 1 for 5 as a hitter. He's worked the 7th and the 8th. And this would tell you that he's going to work the 9th. Milwaukee will have up lefty Logan Schaefer, lefty Juan Francisco, right-hander Ricky Weeks. Reds will take at least a 5-1 lead into the 9th inning. And that's indeed what it will be, as Simon shows why he is a pitcher, not so much as a hitter right there. Light. Let's check in with Donald Lutz. This was back on May the 12th, Mother's Day. His first big league home run came against today's starter Willie Peralta, a 3-run blast for Donald Lutz. And today, on Father's Day, a 2-run pinch hit single into center field back in the 6th inning. So how about Donald Lutz? 5 of his 8 RBIs have come on either Mother's Day or Father's Day in 2013. That is indeed our Miller Time moments of the game. 5-1 Reds into the 9th inning. Alfredo Simon goes back to work for his 3rd inning here. If he gets the job done, this will be a save for him. One of the criteria for a save, 3 innings worth of work. He has 1 save in his 2-year career with Cincinnati. And that came right near the end of last year in Chicago on September the 20th. Picked up the save in that game. Meanwhile, out in the Reds bullpen, Aroldis Chapman is throwing. Simon had 17 saves with Baltimore a couple of years ago. Pitches here with a 4-run lead. Schaefer leading it off. He's 0 for 3 and quickly down 2 strikes. Simon comes at him and a foul ball. Billy Hatcher chases down that ball. Request for the souvenir granted right there. Nicely done. Got him on 4 pitches. Simon has struck out 3 in a row.
And 4 of the last 5. He's got everything working for him. I mean, he can bring the heat. Simon can when he gets that big body of his behind the fastball. Gets good hip turn and just runs it up there. Actually, that looked like an off-speed pitch. Maybe a splitter that just got up out of the zone and chased by Schaefer for a strikeout. Now the guy that tried to put him out of a game with a line drive off his leg.
That was in his first batter back in the 7th inning. Francisco hit it off Simon. Starts him with a breaking ball here. You know, he's really all of a sudden become locked in, hasn't he, after that first inning? Quick 1, 2, 3, 8. Nothing but strikes so far here in the 9th. tip foul, 0-2. Shift defensively by the Reds. Cozart almost behind the second base bag. Way off the line at third is Hanahan. One out in the ninth. Reds lead 5-1. Trying to take 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. That's a strike. Francisco went around, make it 4 strikeouts in a row, 5 of the last 6, and now the Reds are an out away from a series win over the Brewers. Now this big crowd, some of which have gone for cover due to a light rain falling of 39,088. On their feet with 2 out. With Ricky Weeks at the plate. Simon pumps a strike in there. He's thrown 32 pitches, 27 strikes. Worked in the game here Friday, picked up the victory. Trying to close it out with a save. Foul ball. 0-2 to Weeks. 5-1 Reds in the ninth. Trying to push that record back to 14 games above 500. Just low. Cardinals, by the way, have lost. They had the bases loaded in the top of the ninth with 2 out. Matt Holliday at the plate. He took a called third strike to end that game. The Marlins win 7-2 over St. Louis. So a Reds win. They gain a game on first place St. Louis, get to within 2.5. Two and 2. Pirates game is 2-1 Pittsburgh. The Buccos batting now in the bottom of the third. Delayed start there due to rain. 2-2 to Ricky Weeks. And from 0-2 now to 3-2. Betancourt is on deck. Chapman has stopped throwing in the Reds bullpen. He's squatted down watching the action from out in the bullpen area out beyond the left center field wall. Got him. Reds win. A victory for Johnny Cueto on his first game back after being on the disabled list. A save for Alfredo Simon and a 5-run Reds win to take 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers and celebrate a victory here on Father's Day. We'll come back with more in a moment.